Welcome back to NASREC, where we continue our coverage of the ANC conference. Now, joining me now is the chairperson of the ANC in Limpopo, Stan Mathabatha. Chairperson, thank you so much for joining us. A late start yesterday. Obviously, today is delegates are anticipating the adoption of credentials, but just to recap a little bit on yesterday, and how are you feeling, and how is the delegation from Limpopo?
Good morning, and good morning to our viewers also. Yes, I'm feeling good. I mean, this is conference, and conferences of the ANC are very interesting by their own nature. But the developments of yesterday, yes, I would say almost everything went not really according to schedule in terms of time, but they went according to plan. So I haven't seen anything that difficult yesterday.
And this morning, of course, you can start off the program with the credentials.
We are starting with the credentials this morning. We'll be starting with the credentials this morning. Obviously, the credentials in almost every more especially this nowadays, every conference. I thought it was only ANC. I realize it's a number of organizations this nowadays which are also being hit by the same bug. But, well, we expect to have some few challenges because we were supposed to get those credentials yesterday. We couldn't get them because there were challenges here and there. But we were reliably informed that most of those challenges have been dealt with. In particular in our province, yes, we do have some few challenges, very few. I mean, Limpopo is very united this time in this conference. So we've got very few challenges, I think, which will be resolved before we go into the conference today.
Was that relating to registration and some delegates being allowed into conference?
Yeah, as you noticed yesterday, when one was watching TV and listening to the news, I could see some few comrades from Limpopo who are still having some challenges. That is why I'm saying we'll deal with those challenges today.
But Chair, the other provinces that you've probably been chatting to, the chairs of the other provinces, KwaZulu-Natal, we also understood that it's another province that also had raised some issues there.
I wouldn't want to talk on behalf of KZN, but I agree with you. There are serious challenges there.
But as far as you now know, has all the delegates been registered now, those that should be inside?
From Limpopo.
Even if you've heard about the other provinces?
No, like I said, there are still challenges. I mean, at least till late last night, we still had challenges in other provinces. In Limpopo also, we still had very few challenges. But I'm confident that those challenges will be resolved before we go into a conference today.
I guess then it could again see further delays this morning. The credentials might start, but I guess it's going to be quite a lengthy debate amongst delegates when it starts.
Surely that's where the contest lies. I mean, if you lose credentials, if you allow anything wayward go, I mean, take over the issue of credentials, then you shall have lost conference. So what we want to make sure is that this conference must be fair and transparent. Everything that happens in the conference must be transparent to all delegates and very fair. So that you can only do it if you make sure that the credentials are clean.
Chair, just your thoughts. I mean, your province, yes, you're speaking of a few challenges here and there, but the court rulings that affected, of course, the other provinces, them resulting in them losing a number of their delegates that should have been voting delegates. What's the discussion amongst ANC leaders on that?
I must say it's very unfortunate that we have to wait for the court to tell us what we have to do, ordinarily have to do. Some of these challenges were supposed to have been settled back at home. They were not even supposed to come here and waste our time here in this conference. They were supposed to have been settled back at home. But I must say I sympathize with those delegates, those comrades who left their provinces knowing that they are voting delegates, just to find that their status is changing when they are already on in the conference precinct. So I really sympathize with those delegates, but what else? I mean, we must respect the law. We are a constitutional democracy.
And you managed to get through all your BGMs without a lot of trouble, because that's where it all started, really, with the branch general meetings in preparation for conference.
Hence, I am saying it is unfortunate that we wait for the courts to tell us what we ordinarily have to do. Because these things were supposed to have been resolved back at home in their branches, these people. We must make sure that a BGM goes seamlessly, without bypassing or cutting corners. But now, sometimes you get this temptation from comrades to do things which are not supposed to be done. And hence you'll get a court that tells you that you are supposed to do this thing in this particular way. Why didn't you do it in that particular way? And you are unable to account.
President Jacob Zuma also speaking about it yesterday. Chair, do you think moving forward this is a lesson now to ANC leaders going forward, that they need to deal with matters, as you were saying, in their provinces and not ignore or delay matters, and that processes need to be followed as per the ANC rules?
Yes, I must congratulate President Zuma for his political overview, political report. And also thank him for having served us for 10 years as a president of the ANC, and more than that, I think it's about 26 years as an NEC leader of the African National Congress. I think we need to thank the president for that. But at the same time, yes, I totally agree that some of the things that happens, I think with hindsight, they could have been done differently. But I mean, like we always say, it's only a person who's not doing anything who doesn't commit mistakes. If you do things, you will commit mistakes.
Chair, you spoke about your province being united, and obviously others not so much. It's important, the message that the ANC leaders have been carrying through their campaigns and now is the ANC needs to come out of this conference a stronger, more united party.
Historically, that is what the conferences of the ANC have always done, except, of course, the two past conferences, 2007 and 2012, where we had splinter organizations coming out of the African National Conference. But historically, all the conferences of the African National Congress were uniting the ANC, and we hope to bring those glory days of the African National Congress back in this particular conference. Hence, we are saying we must just do everything right and ensure that the culture of the African National Congress is followed to the letter and enhanced, of course.
Chair, realistically speaking, a lot of the provinces, the delegates that are here, of course, were elected by their branches. Others were not. There was concern of manipulation, gatekeeping, a number of complaints and disputes lodged weeks before the conference. So you're still finding back home in the respective provinces members who are aggrieved. Here, the delegates are hoping to come together, but you're still left with quite a bit of a challenge back home to try and sort out, will this conference alone here sort out the challenges back home?
Remember, each and every individual delegate who's here is representing more than 100 people. You know? For every 100 people, you've got a delegate, back at home. So it is the responsibility of these delegates who are here to ensure that whatever decision that we take here must be a decision that will please those people who have not had a privilege of being delegates to this conference, but have vested their interest, vested their confidence in this individual delegate.
Okay. Chair, thank you so much for having joined us this morning, Chairperson of the ANC in the province of Limpopo. All right, we are going to go to a quick ad break, and we now say goodbye to our viewers on